What world did I wake up in? And what the heck is that in the background? They just announced new tools, new armor, a new chest, and the copper golem, all made of copper. What? This has a lot of huge implications for a lot of people. Why is this giant pig? So Mojang literally just announced that they're adding copper tools, copper armor, and a copper chest. And on top of this, they're adding the copper golem from a previous mob vote. I personally voted for that thing. Does this mean they're gonna add the mob vote mobs to Minecraft? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, this video right here was uploaded by Minecraft, and it has so many new features in it that we really need to go over. Most notably, they announced the copper golem, along with, do you see that? The copper axe. So of course, the copper golem was announced in the 2021 mob vote, but it didn't win. The ally ended up winning. But like I just said, I voted for it, and I am so happy to see it in game. Are they gonna add the copper button? Because they did not announce it in this video. Anyway, let's move on. So of course, copper ends up in your inventory, filling it all up because there's so much of it. So that's kind of their justification for adding all this stuff.
So we wanted to make it more useful, to give it more of a purpose.
So yeah, along with the copper golem, they announced the copper chest. This is insane. Let me just show you this. This is how it's gonna work. So let's say this pig is the copper golem, this is the copper chest, and then this is an empty chest. If I put anything into this copper chest, then the copper golem will go over to this chest, grab that item, and then look for a nearby chest to put it in. If it's empty, it'll put it into the empty chest. But if it already has that same item in the chest, then it'll grab that item and then put it into the corresponding chest. What? He's an item sorter. Goodbye, redstone machines. Hello, copper golem. Now, along with these big announcements, they also announced the copper armor and tools. I'm not sure exactly the level of hardness and strength these things have, but I'm gonna guess it's pretty decent. Somewhere before iron, but somewhere after stone. Because you can quite clearly see someone mining some iron with this new tool. And there's no difference between the crafting recipes, so you can craft them just the same as you can any other tool. So this is actually how you're gonna be spawning the copper golem. You can get any of these copper blocks, not the waxed ones, and then put a carved pumpkin on top of it. This will actually turn the copper into a chest, and then on top of it, the golem will spawn. Now, I'm not sure if they're gonna be tied to that specific copper chest, but that's really cool nonetheless. We can also clearly see that there's some oxidized versions of the copper golem, so I don't know what that's gonna change with the gameplay. And apart from this, you can also craft the copper chest if you want to. Look at this thing just chilling out front of this house, grabbing stuff from that copper chest and bringing it over to the other chest. What they're saying is it's gonna bring a lot of life to the world. Sounds cool. They're also saying that this is gonna be very helpful for inventory management, and I can't agree more. That actually sounds great. And maybe an actual solution, because you could just put anything you want into these copper chests, and then these copper golems will just figure it out. They also made some points with the animation of it. It's very animated, so it's very different from all the original mobs, but it really does match in all of their new animation style. And right here is some concept art. Now back to that question, are they actually gonna add some of the mob vote mobs from previous mob votes to Minecraft? They clearly are, so maybe we'll get a penguin someday. Or the crab. I am curious to see if this will actually replace a lot of redstone creations, or maybe it's just gonna be some kind of novelty thing to have. Kind of like the sniffer. Now we've also got some public responses. We got NotVixio saying, what timeline are we in? Which is very similar to what I said to open up this video. And then we got Rayworks saying, I'm so ready for automation. This guy makes a lot of redstone stuff, so this makes perfect sense. But it seems to be pretty well received. But on top of this, what the heck is that in the background? That's blueberries? What is this? Blueberries? I don't know what it is, but I'm really happy to see this in the next update. What do you think it is? It clearly looks like glowberries that are just retextured. Maybe they'll change the texture for whatever this is, but it looks interesting. Also, if I go to the all the way end of the video, you can hear these noises, and Agnes is clearly scared. Did you hear that? Well, I'm curious as to what it is, but someone says it could be the glare. Let's see that. Listen to this. Now let's compare it to this. It sounds pretty similar. Now let's talk about the copper tools. People have been modding copper tools into the game for so long, way even before copper was even a thing in Minecraft. So it is bizarre to see this in the game. Now I don't know exactly when this update's gonna roll around, and I don't think anyone does, but it's not on Java right now, and there is a beta on Bedrock Edition. Now for some reason I can't get the beta Bedrock running, so we're just gonna talk about it. Now here's a little bit more information about the copper golem and all the other stuff that they're adding. The copper golem will drop anywhere between 1 and 3 copper ingots when killed, okay, it can pick up a max of 16 items at a time. It also says in a stack, so it's gonna be very similar to a bundle. Like, it can only pick up one sword, but it can pick up 16 blocks. Any item in a copper chest can be picked up. This leads me to believe that you can use copper chests just as regular chests. Now, I don't actually believe the copper golem oxidizes over time because it doesn't say it does, but the chest will. So you can use a honeycomb to wax it. Now for copper tools, it says what comes between stone and iron. Now the answer is copper. So I guessed that pretty exactly. They don't oxidize. Now there is of course a lot of other changes in this update, so if you want to see them all for yourself, I'll link this down below. I hope for this to come to Java pretty soon. I'm honestly pretty hyped for this update, as someone who voted for the copper golem. Anyway, what do you think about the update? Let me know in the comments below, and of course, like and subscribe for more. As you can see, I'm trying to grow my channel, so of course, leave that like. Thanks for watching, bye!